Hello, my name is Minerva Wu. I am a fourth-year PhD student at UC Irvine and part of a team evaluating the NASEF Esports program. Over the last few years, our team has conducted surveys and interviews with students, coaches, and parents. I'll be providing quotes from some of these interviews to illustrate how the connected learning model is at play in the NASEF clubs. First, what do we mean by connected learning? Connected learning takes place at the intersection of interests, relationships, and opportunities, where learners are working together in shared practices such as creative production or friendly competition. The idea is to connect student interests with their academics or other career and economic opportunities and get mentorship in pursuing these passions. In doing so, they'll also build relationships with similarly interested students and adults. As one coach noticed, if students want to learn something, then they'll go out and do it and really do the necessary independent learning. You learn the in-game knowledge and self-analysis skills that are needed to improve. They practice and put in the time and learn any skills they need along the way. Whether that game is League of Legends, Overwatch, or Rocket League, there is an ecosystem of organizers, strategists, content creators, and entrepreneurs beyond the game and playing the game. NASEF aims specifically to bridge student interest in esports with academic and career readiness and bring attention to the opportunities in esports beyond just playing the game. This is exactly what we mean by connected learning, learning that is driven by student interests, connected with mentors and peers, and supported by resources and opportunities. We'll start with student interests. Our team found that NASEF students found natural ways to bring in STEM and analytical thinking in their pursuits at improving at the game. About half of their analytical work focused on improving their team performance as a whole. A third of analyses focused on understanding and improving their individual performance. Finally, a fifth of analyses looked at opponent performances and how to prepare for these matches. As they built these skills, students were also building relationships with similarly interested peers and adults. All the parents that we interviewed mentioned building community as a benefit of club activities. Students were making friends and building confidence in their skills and abilities, getting help from near-peer mentors. 85% of parents also mentioned a better affiliation with and appreciation of school due to having the club setting to look forward to. While there was a teacher, general manager, or a coach present, the club was also a space to find peers and friends with similar interests and see those interests mirrored and supported by all the adults in the room. It was a place where they could feel like they could do well. As one parent simply put, quote, just like how people might talk about music or the movies, this is where kids could talk about gaming, end quote. Finally, club participation provided opportunities for student leadership. In games, students were calling shots and plays, communicating with their team about positions and objectives, and discussing tactics. Out of game, students were the ones who were organizing practices or doing research on rival teams, and sometimes they were even the ones to set up scrimmages. Some adopted mentorship roles for newer or more inexperienced players. One student and team captain explained, quote, I organize all the ban lists for teams we play against and stuff like that. I do research on the teams and everything. When we go places in game, I call who we've been. And then outside of practice, I organize what happens and when. So that's typically what happens. And then after me, our support player takes over because he's going to be running this when I graduate this year. I've kind of been just telling him how to run it. So when I'm not here, he'll be able to do it successfully. So we can still have our teams going without me being there, end quote. It's students who are stepping up and calling the shots in leadership roles in and out of game. Connected learning is all about growing student relationships and connections with a wider network of students, families, and teachers. These mentorship and leadership opportunities play a vital role in supporting the students' intellectual, social, and emotional development. I think one general manager and teacher put it best, quote, in order for esports to be able to grow, I think a big part of what we have to do is educate and connect with the community. It can't just be the esports club members or the esports team, or even just me or even just the principal. It has to be the whole community, parents, friends, family, other teachers, a lot of people. They don't have to be fully involved where they're at every esports event, and they don't have to fully understand esports, but they have to be willing to support it. They have to understand it enough to see the value that the participants are getting out of it, and they have to be able to get some personal value out of attending these sports events, like watching the games or things like that, end quote. If you're interested, the connected learning model also emphasizes equity and has a particular lens towards research. For more information, please check out our work at connectedlearning.uci.edu. Thank you.